Reddit, what is the petty thing you do to frick the system that may or may not actually have any effect? I saw something similar already mentioned, but after being email bombed, call bombed, mail bombed after asking for a car quote online, I've found a way to wreak petty vengeance. Whenever a company asks for my info online for something I don't need, for example, a car quote, I enter their own info back into them. I have no idea if someone catches this, but the thought of them wasting their resources harassing themselves is enough to make me feel better. They might catch their own information, but they certainly won't catch each other's. In my high school they got rid of lockers and made a no backpacks in the library rule. So we had to leave our bags with all our worldly possessions by the front door and walk back and forth if we needed stuff. Not a huge deal, but kinda lame. They told us it was to prevent theft of library books. So my friends and I began walking out with a book or two every day and collecting them in the trunk of one of our cars. When one friend walked out with a big dictionary that sits on a little pedestal, we figured we had done enough. We arrived at school early one morning and put all the books through the after hours drop box. They barely fit, with a note explaining that we stole them all without a backpack. The rule was rescinded. We have speed cameras that take your picture and mail you a ticket. I registered my car to my business, speed through the zone while giving the camera the finger. You can't ticket a company. Every few times, I get a copy of the pic in the mail with an affidavit asking me to identify the employee. I then write who is this and post the pic in my office. I work out of my house alone. I have 6 of these. I worked at a call center doing credit repair and people wanted to get homes with credit ratings under a 620, which a 640 is where most big banks will start working with you. Under that they'll ream you or say sorry, can't help. I used to get calls from clients saying they had minor bills preventing them from getting their home. Well, there's something most people don't know. If you ask these bill collectors to send you original paperwork of your alleged debt with your original signature, you'd be happy to pay. But these companies just pay for your contact info and know what you owe, so if they did try to get you the original paperwork, 9/10 times it takes more than 30 days and they have exactly 30 days to do so or the debt is written off, so to speak. Doing so, I helped well over 30 families move from their crap hole apartments to the home they wanted, all due to $40 medical bills holding their credit score down a few minor points. I could give a lot of advice to help with raising or maintaining your credit score. Whenever I receive an email that tells me not to reply because it's an automated message, I reply with okay. I was working at the London Olympics this summer employed as a cameraman, and we were told that because Adidas was sponsoring the event it was frowned upon to wear, say, Nike shoes, but they didn't provide us with a free pair of Adidas shoes. Lo and behold, on my first day there I bought a nice pair of Nike free with the most neon logo printed on the side I could find. Because frick the system. Nobody said anything though, and I still refuse to wear Adidas, just because. I live in Toronto, and city parking here is done through a pay terminal that prints paper tickets. I was driving to work and paying $9 a day to park, and having to line up for 5 minutes at the machine every morning while other people paid. I work as a graphic designer, so I saved a bunch of slips, scanned them in and built a font out of the various numbers and letters on the ticket. I got a programmer friend to make a script that generates a ticket for whatever date entered. Now I print off a week's worth of tickets on the color laser at work, snip them on the paper cutter and park all week for free. There is only one unique identifier on the ticket I can't forge, a number generated at the bottom of the ticket. I tuck that part under the black liner on the edge of the windshield. Voila! $200 a month saved. That's improved by the fact that parking tickets in Toronto are often cheaper than parking legally, in my experience. I mark every suggested article Facebook gives me as spam. They pay no attention. I keep getting the suggested articles, but it makes me feel better inside, in my own petty little way. I always enjoyed marking them as offensive material. When I was younger, I religiously used to write for sensual massage in the notes area of checks to the IRS. I am 34 years old, and every check that I've written in my life has said sensual massage in the memo. Every check, no exceptions. Whenever I fill out a survey for some random service or product, Q, what did you like best about the product service? A, the donuts. Q. What did you like the least about the product service? A. The beatings. Q. Do you have any additional comments? A. More donuts, less beatings. I'm dumb as frick and this makes me giggle endlessly. I work as data entry for a market research company and thank you. It's fun to read that kind of thing. I used to get all these consumer surveys when I was in college. They were questionnaires about what stuff you buy in the household and how much and what you like to buy, etc. I started filling them out as if a large family of Polynesians lived there. I wrote in how much we wished we could get point stuff at Walmart. I would also get the ones my neighbors had and fill them out the same way. Lo and behold, one day I go into Walmart and there is now a Polynesian food section. This was in the middle of Tennessee BTW. You'd better be eating that dang poi. I work in a huge mall in the suburbs. They have started charging for parking. If you spend over $150 you get to park for free. The fee is not a lot, $3 a day for staff. But that crap adds up, and they are making money off all the poor retail assistants who are going through uni or don't really have a lot. Not to mention that it's like 3 blocks away from anywhere. So every time I work I go and validate parking for people. If any of the staff want me to, I'll put through the $150 and they can go and validate it, and then I'll return the items. Frick you, Westfield. I work at a popular Italian food chain restaurant that hands out Andes mints to their guests at the end of the meal. The way it's supposed to work is every guest at the table is supposed to get 1 mint because the cost of the mints is calculated into the cost of the meal to balance everything out. I regularly give out handfuls of the dang things to my tables, especially if they have kids who were actually nice, or if I have regulars or friends sit at my table I'll take a small 2-go box and fill it with them and write lasagna on the top so no one is the wiser. We get told to treat our guests like family, and my family eats a crap ton of Andes candies. That's the best part about Olive Garden. I always opt out at the airport. I do that as well. You should try not breaking eye contact with your groper and give a little moan. I received a bill in the mail for $0.02 with a prepaid return envelope. I taped a nickel to the invoice and mailed it back in their envelope. They then had to send me a check in the mail for $0.03 because I overpaid. It cost them $1.35 in postage alone just to collect my 2 cents, not to mention the additional costs they incurred. Oh, and I never cashed the check, so it's still on their books. Next time, write it off, buttholes. The sandwich franchise I work for is owned by a colossal and successful dickhead. We have some of the highest turnaround rates because the company does not care about keeping employees and would prefer you quit without notice to giving you a raise. I like to get sloppy with how much bacon should be on a sandwich, how much avocado spread, give free crap out all the time, and generally do everything I can to make them lose money. It's possible you're making him money by increasing customer satisfaction. I used to own my own small cleaning company and I once cleaned an office for a solid month and they refused to pay me. So, I went in with a dozen eggs and broke them at various points in their ventilation system. This isn't petty, it's well deserved. Bring my own food into movie theaters. I've seen a woman pull 5 large styrofoam cups and a bucket of KFC out of her purse to feed herself and her kids during Iron Man. She even put gravy on their potatoes. I was so envious. I'm still grandfathered into unlimited 3G data from Verizon. I keep streaming music via 3G as long as possible, just to use up more data. Whenever I gave slideshow presentations I hid a penis in there somewhere, busted by classmates, but teachers never called me out on it. I was hoping you were a teacher. I always say good morning to my environmental teacher in the afternoon. Every time someone says enjoy your meal I say you too. It makes me happy for some reason. I like to rent a movie from Redbox the night before I'm about to fly somewhere, then return it to a Redbox 1000 miles away. Typically I will do the same thing at my destination too, and try to pick the most disparate genres ever. So I'll rent some gruesome horror flick, and return Dora the Explorer. We should coordinate to empty a Redbox of movies and fill it all with a single movie. I'm a school principal. For the last 15 years I have signed every piece of paper that I know will not be read as mouse. Frick the bureaucracy. For my job I am required to write daily reports. As such I have taken to writing dates and numbers in long antiquated form, such as, on this day, the 10th of the 4th month of the 2013th year of our Lord. Any numbers are written as Roman numerals. Sometimes there are traffic monitors that gather data about how fast cars are going. I slow way the frick down when I drive over them to screw with their data. I say thank you over and over again at Chick-fil-A just because I know they have to respond with, my pleasure. My record is 8 my pleasures. When I worked in a retail store electronics department, I would always hand people the cheapest, most generic cell phone chargers and HDMI cables, and I'd explain why the $10 cables were just as good as the $100 cables. Whenever I am watching anything on Hulu, I click not relevant on every advertisement. Hopefully, one day they will run out of things to show me and I will be able to watch shows commercial free. I take my electronics to work and charge them. All. Phone, iPad, laptop. If it charges, it's coming to work with me. This is super lame. When I did my taxes for the first time a few years ago I was really excited to get my $12.15 back, but I got a check in the mail for only $12. My dad told me they just round up or down blah blah blah. Anyways, next time I was at the post office I walked off with the pen. Pens are cheaper than that in bulk, you have to go back. I always fill up gas to an exact amount, then add 1 cent. Then I walk in and pay cash, and the person never seems to ask for it. I'm sure I have saved at least a dozen cents. My place of work automatically shuts off our computers if they are left on after a certain time to save power. They only do this if you have left your computer on after a certain time. My third week at my job, I forgot to shut it down before I left so they added me to the list and my computer shuts off automatically at 6 PM every night. A month or two after I was added to the list, I had to stay after normal working hours to enter some information. Lo and behold, the damned computer shuts off. The program I'm using doesn't have a save function, so I had to re-enter the data. It took me 30 freaking minutes to do the first time around. Next day I ask if they could stop turning my computer off, so I don't have to worry about it screwing me over again. Apparently they can't because they're worried about me wasting company power. So now, every day before I leave I pull out the network cable. They can't turn off my computer if it's not on the network, so I freaking win. I've been doing this for 2 years now and I'm sure that no one gives a rat's butt, but frick the system. Sounds like crappy sysadmins. You can configure the computers to automatically suspend or shut down after a period of inactivity instead of forcefully shutting down PCs at a particular time. I always take my shoots at work. Feels good to get paid to crap. I used to like to calculate the moment where I got paid more to crap than my lunch cost me. I stick a single sheet of blue paper into the feed tray for the office fax machine so every once in a while a page will come out blue. Some of the faxes we get are important documents which are archived for years. Someday an auditor is going to go through them all and see random blue pages and wonder what it means. At my university they make us pay 10 cents for a water cup, so I put Sprite in it every time and it looks like water. My life is pathetic. I write myself in for a lot of elections, especially when I couldn't name any candidates. I write an Optimus Prime for any office where I don't recognize the candidates' names, or where there's only one candidate running. The Scantron document of our standardized tests have a huge page that says do not write here, and for the last 3 years of testing I've wrote Anarchy in really tiny letters. I flag every ad on Facebook as offensive. My stepdad is a lazy butthole who ruined my childhood. He's also a bit of a germaphobe. When I was still living with him, during dinner sometimes, he would ask me to get him a fork or a spoon or whatever, and while I was still in the kitchen, I would lick it before giving it to him. I would lick it and then watch him use it. Take that, butthole. When I worked at a regional fast food chain, Sonic, for you Tornado Alley folk, I would always give the customer 5 cheddar peppers instead of 4, because that crap is dank, son. Bless you, Lord bless you. Those things are like small spicy crack-filled tubes of pure love, but crap on their ice cream. Source: I'm barn-sized. Whenever I have to drive in New Jersey, I avoid all toll roads. The only time they get me is at river crossings. Ever notice how all of them charge you for getting out of New Jersey and not into it? I still get back into PA for free over 95. I don't hate Jersey or anything, but frick tolls. In Canada, when we do our taxes, you have to make over $2 on your refund or the government won't send you a check. So if I'm supposed to get back $1.99, the government says, whoops, sorry, you don't get this 'cause it's not worth our time. However, if I owe the government even a penny, they want it. So every year I end up owing about $0.11, but I never pay them. I just wait until they send me the letter that says they want the money and I win right there. I made you spend more than 11 cents asking me for the 11 cents. Frick the man. This does not cost the government, it costs the taxpayers, meaning you and others like you. Self-checkout at the grocery store. I tell the machine I'm buying avocados, but I'm actually buying organic avocados. All produce suddenly became bananas at the self-checkout stand when I was making $12K a year. For me, I refuse to choose between an ad when they give you the choice between the two at the beginning of a show on Hulu. Pretty pointless, but I do it anyway. But that's like 15 extra seconds that could be avoided if you just clicked one randomly. I rebroadcast NFL games without the express, written consent of the NFL. I throw hand sanitizer on the walls of the hospital I work in when I'm frustrated. I'm probably making it cleaner in there, but it feels like vandalism and that's what's important. You have been visited by the strong skeleton. He wants you to like this video and have a good week. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.